Hi, thanks for joining me. Let's walk through the 6 major milestones of modern diet, taking us from hunter-gatherers through to the civilizations we know today. Starting with the agricultural revolution. In the 18th and early 19th centuries in Europe, we domesticated crops and animals for the first time. We developed more control over our food supply and even a food surplus for the first time in history. Because we were focused on a handful of crops, we started to see habitat loss, degradation of soil, fewer and less diversity of nutrients, and rapid loss of bone density. We also started to see the very first signs of chronic illness and spread of communicable disease, as well as the first appearance of class systems and division of wealth. After the agricultural revolution, we also started to see the introduction of refined sugar. In the 1600s, refined sugar became available, initially as a luxury item in very small quantities and only to the very wealthy. But as production became cheaper and cheaper, consumption ballooned to the 150 to 200 pounds per person consumed today. Then comes the Industrial Revolution. This is where we see the rise of manufactured foods. Shelf-stable food products that could be transported between cities. A combination of refined sugar, flour, and vegetable oils. Less nutrient-dense but more convenient. As population growth increased, demand on the food production supply continued to grow, and machines began to replace people and animals, leading to a sedentary lifestyle and new chemicals and toxins released into the environment. Then Big Food came to be. Food giants began to emerge like Nestle, Post, Kellogg's, Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper. This is also where we start to see addictive food engineering begin. The bliss point was developed, the hyper-palatable combination of salt, sugar, and fat that tastes so good but is often void of nutrients. Big food companies also began to advertise to children and also influence public policy and research. Then the chemical revolution became a thing. World War II facilitated advances in chemical engineering. Those same chemicals that were used in war came back as fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides in our food production system. They also led to improvements and advancements in the manufacturing of shelf-stable food products. At this time, more nutrient-dense foods like butter and meat were reserved for the troops, and civilians were offered new food products like margarine and hydrogenated oils. At the same time, we started to see flawed nutrition research come about, claiming that these new products were healthier than the animal source saturated fats that they tried to replace. And last, we have the digital revolution. This gave rise to digital electronics, computing, communication, and easy access to information. Our physical movement kept going down and down. Less movement, more sedentary lifestyles. We also started to slump over our devices, and our posture got really bad, which negatively impacts digestion, as well as screen time negatively impacting our sleep quality and quantity. Everyone is connected to their device, and no one is moving or sleeping or talking to each other even. And that leaves us where we are today, with an abundance of cheap, highly processed, non-perishable, chemical-laden foods that are hyper-palatable and void of nutrients, leading sedentary lifestyles, not getting enough sleep, and taking in lots of toxins from our environment. All of this disrupts our ability to listen to our bodies and give them what they need. We are all disconnected from our innate wisdom and unable to naturally nourish our bodies. Thank you.